Gvoke glucagon is a prescription medicine used to treat very low blood sugar in adults and children ages 2 years and above with diabetes. Please see important safety information at the end of this video and full prescribing information at www.gvokeglucagon.com.
You know, growing up in Southern California gave me a love for ethnic cuisine, especially Mexican-style street food. I mean, gazpacho, cold tomato soup, absolutely amazing. And who doesn't like Mexican street corn? So, you know, if you're living with type 2 diabetes, everything on this menu can be part of a happy and healthy diabetic lifestyle way of eating. The key is the right size portion. That's what we're gonna look for. I mean, this kind of food speaks to me. It's food of love. This reminds me of home, Southern California.
I have a memory of me like sneaking in my kitchen in the middle of the night, grabbing a couple strawberries, and I would go to the spice cabinet and smell and taste every spice we had. I would love to make wacky sandwiches, you know, like onion and peanut butter. And I like to think of it as painting on a canvas with flavors and ingredients to make wacky and wild creations. Stuff that sometimes it hit, sometimes it didn't. It always was my happy place. It always was my place of security. Chefing would be my path for the rest of my life. I'm a chef living with type 2 diabetes for over 3 decades. I am a father, a loving husband of almost 43 years. I think I'm a nice guy.
Robert Lewis, better known as the Happy Diabetic Chef, has made it his mission to show that you can still enjoy delicious food while managing diabetes.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Happy Diabetic Kitchen. I'm Chef Robert Lewis, the Happy Diabetic, and today it's going to be my world famous, at least my mother thinks so, caramelized salmon with fruit salsa.
As a chef living with diabetes, how can I create and eat the most amazing foods possible? I'm not a doctor, I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a certified diabetic educator. I'm just a chef living with type 2 diabetes. Being prepared every day and taking responsibility, I think that's a key element to someone managing their diabetes. As I got going in this whole idea of happy diabetic eating, my daughter said, "Dad, what are you gonna call yourself?" She says, "Well, you're the happiest person I know. Why don't we call you the Happy Diabetic Chef?" Cindy, I found this really great, almost fat-free turkey meat. I thought we would just have turkey, taco, lettuce wraps.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That sounds fantastic. My name is Cindy. I am married to Robert. Robert is just a happy, positive, caring person. He's just always had a passion for tasting new and delicious foods. We continue to explore new foods together.
When I was 13, 14, when I was just really getting interested in cooking, my father was very ill. And so my mother spent a lot of time at the hospital with him. So that left me home alone, just to cook and feed and fend for myself. And I loved doing that. My dad passed away when he was 54.
For the first couple months, it was really hard for me to tell people about that because everybody else had a dad. But why didn't I have a dad?
You know, my brothers kicked in. It was as good as it could be.
He had strong family ties. He was one of 4 boys, and his brothers helped him to learn some really significant values.
Here I was graduating from high school trying to figure out what am I going to do with my life. My brother Howard knew that I loved to cook. And so he found this school, the Culinary Institute of America, was in Hyde Park, New York. And off I went to New York. I'm from Los Angeles. I'd never been to New York. And I owe it to my brother Howard, because quite honestly, if he hadn't stepped in and helped guide and directed me, because my dad had passed away, I'm not sure what my path would have been. My mother, she was excited that I was going to chef school, and she was willing to make that happen.
I was on an adventure, but I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I mean, it was super intense, and it was very rigorous, and very much lots of studying had to be done, and learning had to be done with topics that I knew nothing about. So that was all an amazing adventure.
There was pressure to graduate and to do well. I really wanted to make my mother proud of me.
When I met Robert, he had just graduated from chef school. He was in his first professional role, aspiring to be an executive chef. And that was a lot of fun. You know, when you have a good marriage and a good relationship, you share everything. You share the good and you share the challenging.
On a trip back from Colorado, a vacation trip with the family, we had about a 12-hour drive. I seemed to be thirsty all the time, seemed to be super tired all the time, had to use the bathroom at almost every rest stop back home, and I knew something wasn't right. I didn't know what it was, but I knew something was not right.
We got back home and he's made an appointment with his physician.
Through some testing, they determined, congratulations, Robert, you have type 2 diabetes. My blood sugar was super high, and that was the first I really ever thought about diabetes. Well, Robert, what have you done to cause this? You know, what have I done? What didn't I do? And all these thoughts in my mind about how could I have done things better, and why is it my fault that I have type 2 diabetes? And I think that was not only hard to digest, but hard to talk to people about. I remember leaving confused, not really sure, and thinking that, you know, diabetes was kind of like a little black mark. I got home from my doctor's visit, and I just said, the doctor gave me this diagnosis of diabetes, but it's not a big deal, and I'm gonna be fine.
When it was our reality, that was shocking and certainly life-changing.
I'm a chef, and cooking is everything, and food is everything for me. And the fact that I heard about all the foods I could not eat or get near, that started me down my path of denial. That started me just to say, well, this is not going to be the disease for me. And there's so many misconceptions about diabetes. And so I just kind of tried to navigate myself through that without much support, telling anybody about it, until it came to the point where my way was not working. And that's when Cindy got involved and helped me to this class at a local hospital.
His body wasn't creating enough insulin for him to be able to manage his glucose levels without some medication and diet and exercise. I hoped that he would come home from that class just being more accepting of the fact, and that he would be encouraged and optimistic about management, self-regulation, being able to take care of himself.
I had the opportunity to go to a 3-day class at a local hospital about everything you want to know about diabetes. And I kind of went kicking and screaming. But I got there and I found myself surrounded with other people taking injections, checking their blood sugars, and I'm like thinking, well, there's a lot of people here, and there's a lot of people here with diabetes. I'm not alone in this, right? And once I really realized that the diabetic community was larger than I thought, and here's all these people that have diabetes and managing it to a high level, I thought, well, that's me. That's what I want to be. I want to be that. So for me, that was my diabetic awakening, that I could tackle this disease and live a great life with it. When it comes to learning things, I'm very passionate about how I learn and what to learn. So that took me down a whole path of questions to come back and ask my endocrinologist And that started a really great conversation about strategies and medicines like Gvoke. I didn't even know that glucagon was a thing, and I didn't really even think low blood sugars or even severe low blood sugars was going to be part of my type 2 diagnosis. I had this preconception that only type 1s would have a severe low blood sugar event, but it can happen with type 2s, and I thought, why has this been missing in my education? When I was at the booth, I saw a demonstration of Gvoke HypoPen, and I thought, well, this is something I need to have. And that's when I went and talked to my doctor about it. We chatted about it. She made sure I understood before I left her office, but I did leave with a prescription for Gvoke and have had it since. Gvoke HypoPen is part of my plan to not be held back. Looking back when I was diagnosed, I would have hoped my primary care physician would have sat me down, said, Robert, take a deep breath. You've just got this diagnosis of type 2 diabetes, and here's what it means. Here's how our goals would be for the next 6 months and year, and here's some strategies that you could use to live better with this disease. There was really no conversation about severe low blood sugar. I'm not sure why my GP and my diabetic educator never talked about those issues, but I didn't even know we should have talked about it. Having that dialogue, I think I would have left there feeling much more confident instead of just thinking, okay, well, I've got this disease and I'm a little embarrassed by it, and what did I do wrong? Which in reality, I didn't do anything wrong. And if my doctor would have helped me to understand that and learn that, I think my learning curve and my denial would have been very short-lived. I want no one to go through that. I want people to wake up every morning knowing that there's a plan and there's hope for them. So I tell people all the time, give yourself some grace. You're a human trying to figure this out. So let's do it together, and let me show you some things that have worked great for me. I'm super passionate about my life as a chef. Living with diabetes, how can I create and eat the most amazing foods possible? The first time I ever gave someone one of my experimental diabetic recipes, and they went home and made it, and they said, this was amazing. My family thought it was just amazing. But that got me so fired up to create more and do more. My passion comes from giving them food advice and eating advice and cooking advice. So I just thought, as I'm learning how to cook healthy, I was asked to teach an adult continuing education class at a local community college. Got a call about a week later saying that they have received so much mail and calls about the recipe and where can I get it. These people are looking for solutions, and I thought I had a good answer. Okay, Robert, you can make a difference in someone's life. What are you gonna do with it, right? You've been served lemons. You know, what kind of lemonade are you gonna make? Hello everyone, welcome to the Happy Diabetic Kitchen podcast. I am your host, Chef Robert Lewis, and this is the internet's most delicious cooking podcast. We're here in the kitchen talking about food. We've got a podcast with 90 episodes with lots of listenership, and I can maybe give them a realization that they can live healthy with diabetes and try to leave people with some hope. I think the podcast really speaks to people on their level and not doctor speak. It's Robert speak. It's someone living with diabetes who can relate to them. And that's what I try to put across in the podcast. I've gone from not wanting to talk about it to now I can't wait to meet someone and talk about it, because I think I can help them or help their loved one in a way that I know would be impactful for them. And I'm hoping that anyone that's watching can wake up tomorrow morning after seeing it saying, I think maybe for the first time I've got a little bit of hope, and if I can reach one person, for me this has been all worthwhile.
Indication: Gvoke glucagon is a prescription medicine used to treat very low blood sugar in adults and children ages 2 years and above with diabetes. Important safety information. Do not use Gvoke if you have a tumor in the gland on top of your kidneys called a pheochromocytoma because of the risk of a substantial increase in blood pressure, have a tumor in your pancreas called an insulinoma because of the risk of low blood sugar, are allergic to glucagon or any inactive ingredient in Gvoke. Stop using Gvoke and seek immediate medical attention if you experience any symptoms of a serious allergic reaction, such as rash, difficulty breathing, or low blood pressure. Before using Gvoke, tell your doctor about all the medicines you take and your medical conditions, including if you have not had food or water for a long time, prolonged fasting or starvation, have low blood sugar that does not go away, chronic hypoglycemia, or have a history of a skin rash called necrolytic migratory erythema, commonly associated with glucagon-producing tumors. The most common side effects reported in adults are nausea, vomiting, swelling at the injection site, and headache. The most common side effects reported in children are nausea, low blood sugar, vomiting, headache, abdominal pain, high blood sugar, pain or redness at injection site, and hives. Inform caregivers on the instructions for use of Gvoke and symptoms of severe hypoglycemia, which include unconsciousness and seizures or convulsions. Store in original container until time of use and at room temperature between 68 degrees Fahrenheit to 77 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius. You are encouraged to report side effects of prescription drugs to the FDA. Visit www.fda.gov/medwatch or call 1-800-FDA-1088. Please talk to your doctor and see full prescribing information and patient information guide for Gvoke at www.gvokeglucagon.com.